Hi guys, welcome to another live. It might be my second live, but today we're gonna be looking some TikTok videos, and this one is about a lady that her sister had a kid with her dad. So this is true crime story. Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, you guys ready? Let me know when you guys ready. I'm gonna start it.
About it. I know there's a lot of true crime people that I follow on this app, and this is a story that you probably would love to listen to. And if you want to take a deep dive, stick around. We're going to go off of timelines first and details later. If you guys have any questions or want a story time on specific details, please let me know in the comments and I'll be glad to share them with you. The reason I'm making this video is because I do hold a lot of trauma and I'm not in therapy, and I feel like my story could potentially help someone else in this situation and give them a voice. Hi, my name is Alyssa. I'm 26 years old and my father was put in prison in 2013. So like I said, we're going to start on timelines, and from the very beginning, my sister was born in 93, I was born in 99. My father is my sister's stepfather, technically. He raised her from the time she was 4 years old up until she was 18 years old. Her real father was not actively in her life. My father was, so she called him dad. That was her dad. My father was an over-the-road truck driver, and a lot of times addiction.
Oh, so let's hear. We have like the first problem here. So she says she has a lot of traumas, but she's not in therapy. That's a big problem. I do have my problems, but like I don't think I need therapy. But like for what she's about to tell you guys, this is sinister. So she should definitely take care of her mental health. I know like it's fun to share this story with us, but that's not gonna help her to solve that problem in her mind. She needs like some real doctor help. But yeah, let's keep looking at her story. I'm having trouble here to connect to the thing. Got it.
Comes along with that kind of job, and my mother was also an addict as well. My sister started getting abused when she was younger by my father, and DCF was involved and took me and my sister out of my parents' care and placed us with our grandparents. I was placed with my dad's parents, and my sister was placed with my mom's parents.
Mm-hmm. So here, guys, I think the fact that the government was involved, the CDF, were involved, they should put the daughter, the kids in the case, just with the mom, mom's, like just with the mom's part, not with the dad side of the family, because the dad might be in touch with his family, might have access to the kids, so that doesn't sound like about right.
During this time of being placed with my grandparents and my sister being placed with grandparents, my mom decided to stay. Not only did she stay, she thought it was a good idea to get pregnant with my younger brother. My younger brother was born in 2000. We were living in Pensacola.
If your kids are abused for their father or your new husband, you should never stay with this person because this person is not a good person. What makes a mom think, oh, he abused my daughter and that's okay, and I'm going to continue with this person? No, that should not be a good reason to save someone if they abuse the kids. That's not like a good example as a mom can give to their daughters. That's maybe that's one of the reasons why she has like the traumas.
Florida, in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, single wide mobile home. Mind you, my parents are heavy in addiction at this point, and the abuse still continued once we were placed back in their care. My parents constantly were physically fighting each other, arguing constantly. It was terrible.
Another thing, guys, not everyone should be parents. If you have like some addiction that you cannot overcome this, you should not be a mom or a dad. That's not okay because kids are gonna get the trauma. But I guess people in those kind of situations, they don't even think about it, about the trauma they can bring to that kid. I'm 30 years old and I have like some mental issues and I do think a lot. So I don't plan on put a kid in this world just because I want to have a kid. That makes no sense. I need to have like a good mental, be in a good mental state, and also be okay, be ready for a kid. Not just I'm just gonna have a kid because kids are cute, but they grow up. So no, and they grow up with traumas. Play video.
Couple years go by and my parents decide that they are going to get clean and get on a straight and narrow path. We moved to Cantonment, Florida. I'm not sure the year, but as a child, I remember thinking to myself, this is amazing. We're going from a trailer to a block home with a pool and acreage. We're going to have our own bedrooms instead of 3 children all piled into one room. I thought it was going to be great. Little did I know it was going to get worse.
Mm.
My parents decided to leave the addiction in the past, and my father decided to pick up another addiction with alcohol.
Ooh, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. I grew up in a household like my dad had like alcohol addiction, but now he doesn't drink anything anymore because he learned because he lost his wife because of that. But alcohol, drugs, no, that should not be the case. Like if you just do like occasionally, like alcohol, for example, it's okay. But if you do that like every day, that's so bad. That's so bad. So he chose one thing for another, but I don't even know which one is worse. I don't think you can even measure which one is worse. But no.
And it was extremely severe. The abuse in the home continued to happen all the way up until my father was put away in prison in 2013. My mother claims that she didn't know how to get away from this man. There was no opportunity for her to ever leave him. Blah, 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 blah. Now that I'm an adult myself with children, I know in my heart and mind that if something were to ever be happening in my household with my spouse and my child, I would leave.
And that's right. That's what you should do. Your mom, sorry girl, but your mom was not a good mom.
And he would probably leave in a body bag. But moving forward, the abuse with my sister and my father continued to happen in the house in Cantonment where we had lived. The man that owned the house also owned a lawn care company, and my mother started working for him. The lawn business was ran out of the backyard where we were living and renting the house. We became extremely close with the owner of the house. He was like an uncle to me. We would go to his house. We would have parties and things like that, get-togethers and whatnot. And you might be thinking, why is this important? But we will get there. We lived in this house for probably the longest period of time we've ever lived in a house. While living in the house in Cantonment, the abuse continued to get more and more and more severe, and I didn't ever think it was going to stop. Also, keep in mind, years are going by, I'm getting older.
So they're probably like very little and they could not do anything. Like if they go to their mom knows what's happening. She is the adult in the house and she doesn't do anything to help. The kids cannot do much. I mean, they could talk to their teachers, but in the kids' head, they be like this. Well, if my mom is not helping me, who else is gonna help me? You know. So there is like they don't have an exit for it. The kids cannot do much.
As I'm getting older, I'm starting to question things like, why is my dad locking me and my brother out of the house and telling us to go clean the pool or go play outside, right? My brother and I would try to go back inside the house and the door would be locked, and my sister and my dad would be in the home alone. At probably 8 or 9 years old, maybe younger, I definitely thought something was weird. As a child, with the abuse going on, I was extremely terrified to say anything to anyone. My father was an extremely terrifying man. Extreme.
That's what I mentioned before, guys. So if she was scared of the dad, the mom knew, and the mom didn't do anything, what could she do? And it's so weird that he would like lock him and the other sister in the house. I cannot even imagine something like this. That's why, like, when abusers go to the prison, they have that kind of treatment. You guys know what I'm talking about, like the soap. They drop the soap, That's what they deserve. That's what they deserve. Because if you can do that to your kid, I cannot even imagine you can do to others' kids. Maybe that's the only one that they found out. You know. That's why also, like, if you have kids, make sure that you keep your kids. Don't let them do like a lot of play dates at other people's house without you know them very well, because you cannot even trust the people that you know.
My reasoning as a child for not saying anything was I was scared if I mentioned that something weird was going on with my mom, my sister, and my dad to my mom. If I said anything to my mom, I was terrified that my mom was going to approach him. She was going to tell him what I had told her, and then he would retaliate and hurt me. So I never said anything. I never said anything. And yes, to this day,
Oh, wait, I was confused. I thought she had talked to her mom. I guess I got lost in the story. So she hadn't told her mom about the abuse. Oh, interesting. Let's go back to the video. Let's see if we can understand this better.
I do have guilt and I sleep with that every single day. Now, the crazy part that comes in is, like I told you, the guy that owned the business, running it out of the backyard in the home we were renting from him, approached my mother and questioned her about my father and my sister's relationship, that it was weird. Mind you, this came out of the blue, according to my mom. She questioned my dad and my sister, and they said, no, nothing's going on, nothing's going on.
That's so fun that a stranger knows something wrong. I mean, if a stranger knows something wrong, you can you can see the image. So something was really bad going on. Maybe they were like walking the streets like in a different, like, hug each other, like not in a father and daughter way, you know. But this mom, like, I feel like she's like just ignoring the information that she has. That's not good at all.
Right? Me, as a mom today, if any outsider is coming to tell me that something is going on or I think something's going on with your spouse and your child, done. Done. Before it even got to this point, it should have been done. So, the landlord slash lawn business owner that had.
Another point, guys. A lot of people don't trust like information that they just hear, like, oh, that's nothing. But parents, other parents, if ever hear something like little thing, like, make sure that you just pay close attention to it. Just don't ignore it. That's why the kid doesn't feel the trust. If the kid says something and you ignore it, the kid not gonna feel the trust. Or if the neighbor saw something and you ignore it, the neighbor's gonna like not gonna bother you anymore. And then that's how things can escalate to worst.
Questioned my mom about my dad and my sister's relationship. Um, his relationship with my dad became pretty rocky, and my parents decided that we were going to move. We moved to a house on Abbey Lane in Pensacola, Florida, and not long after we moved in, maybe several months, is when the big secret came out. I can go into detail about the night that everything did go out. If you guys want a story time on that, please drop it in the comments and I will.
We do want the whole details. Give me the details. I'm gonna drop a comment so I can have access to the details and bring back to you guys later, probably.
Be glad to tell you that story. Now, when everything did come out, my father denied every bit of everything up until there was a child born, and DNA proved that 99.999% DNA was his.
I'm just curious, did his father go to jail? I mean, this is the proof. There's the ultimatum proof. His DNA. I'm so mad. I'm mad at the mom. I cannot be mad at her, the sister, because she was just young. But the mom, no.
Mind you, my sister did not find out that she was pregnant until she was several months along. Um, and it was right before we were going to go to trial. Trial happened in July of 2013, and
Oh,
she had the baby in February of 2013. Now, that pretty much sums up the timeline of everything that I've endured in my childhood. However, there is so many stories that I have about things that my parents have put me through and my siblings through. So, if you would like to hear a story, or you're interested about everything that happened, feel free to drop a comment. I'm going to use this as a diary slash therapy session slash trauma dump. I don't care. I just want my story out there. It's been so long, and I've sat for a long, long time, and I just want to feel some sort of justice for myself. And my
thanks for your story, Alyssa. But I do think it's true. You should have a therapy. Go to a therapy session. We can like listen for you, but